In football, greatness is usually measured in trophies. The great Brazil teams, the great German teams, the great Argentina teams. But every once in a generation, a team comes along that changes something far bigger than football itself. Between 2008 and 2012, Spain didn't just win, they rewrote the rules. For 4 years, the world's best players chased shadows. World champions couldn't stop them. European giants couldn't stop them. Football itself seemed powerless against them. They won 3 consecutive major tournaments, something no national team had ever achieved before. And they did it playing a style many experts once believed could never succeed on football's biggest stage. A style built not on strength, not on speed, not on fear, but on control. This is the story of how Spain created football's greatest team. Before Spain became football's ultimate machine, they were football's greatest disappointment. Every tournament seemed to follow the same script. The expectations were enormous, the talent was undeniable, and yet the ending was always the same: failure. At the 1998 World Cup, Spain crashed out in the group stage. At Euro 2004, another painful disappointment followed. At the 2006 World Cup, they were knocked out by France. No matter how talented the squad looked, something always went wrong. Eventually, a painful reputation began to follow them, a nation blessed with extraordinary footballers, yet somehow unable to deliver when the pressure was highest. Spain had world-class players, they had passionate fans, they had one of the strongest domestic leagues in the world, but they didn't have belief. For decades, Spanish football carried an invisible burden, and nobody knew it then. But the solution wasn't going to come from a superstar, it was going to come from an idea. While Spain struggled on the international stage, something extraordinary was happening in Catalonia. Inside Barcelona's famous academy, La Masia, a generation of young players were being taught football differently. Most teams focused on physicality. Most teams focused on athleticism. Barcelona focused on the ball. Every training session followed the same philosophy. If you have the ball, the opponent cannot score. Simple, yet revolutionary. Years earlier, Johan Cruyff had planted the seeds. Now those seeds were beginning to transform football. Young players were taught to think faster, to move the ball quicker, to constantly create passing angles, to understand space before receiving possession. The game became less about individual brilliance and more about collective intelligence. At the center of this revolution were players like Xavi Hernandez and Andrés Iniesta. Footballers who weren't physically dominant, footballers who weren't the fastest, but footballers whose understanding of the game was almost unmatched. The style became known as tiki-taka, short passes, constant movement, relentless control. And Spain's national team was about to inherit it. In 2004, Spain appointed Luis Aragonés as manager. Many doubted him, but Aragonés saw something others didn't. Spain didn't need to become something else. They simply needed to embrace who they already were. For years, Spanish football had tried to imitate the traditional powers. Now, Aragonés wanted Spain to trust its own identity. He built the team around technique, around possession, around intelligence. Most importantly, he built the team around players like Xavi and Iniesta. The ball became Spain's greatest weapon, not because they wanted to entertain, but because they wanted complete control. Little by little, the players began to believe, and once belief arrived, everything started to change. By the time Euro 2008 arrived, Spain looked different, confident, calm, fearless, led by Xavi, Iniesta, David Villa, David Silva, Cesc Fàbregas, and captain Iker Casillas. They swept through the group stage. The football was beautiful, but more importantly, it was effective. Then came the biggest test, the quarter-final against Italy, the reigning world champions. For decades, this was exactly the kind of match Spain would lose. The old Spain would panic. The old Spain would freeze. The old Spain would find a way to fall short. This Spain didn't. After a tense and exhausting battle that stretched into a penalty shootout, Casillas became Spain's hero. The curse was broken. For the first time in generations, Spain truly believed they belonged among football's elite. They defeated Russia in the semi-final, then Germany in the final. Spain were European champions, but this wasn't the end of the story. It was only the beginning. After Euro 2008, something remarkable happened. Spain didn't celebrate and relax. They evolved. Every player understood the system, every movement had a purpose, every pass created another passing lane. Opponents spent entire matches chasing shadows. Managers studied them. Analysts searched for weaknesses. Nobody found a solution. As the years passed, the partnership between Xavi, Iniesta, and Sergio Busquets became the foundation of Spain's dominance. Together, they controlled the rhythm of matches like conductors leading an orchestra. Spain no longer relied on moments. They relied on control. Control of possession, control of space, control of tempo, control of emotions. Football had rarely seen anything like it. World Cup 2010, South Africa, the biggest stage in football, the one trophy Spain had never won. Ironically, their campaign began with disaster, a shocking 1-0 defeat against Switzerland. The doubts returned immediately. Critics questioned everything. Maybe Spain were overrated, maybe tiki-taka couldn't win a World Cup, maybe history was repeating itself. But champions respond differently. Spain responded by becoming even better. They defeated Honduras, they defeated Chile, then came the knockout rounds, Portugal were eliminated, Paraguay were eliminated, and then came Germany. The team many believed would become world champions. Spain dominated possession, controlled the tempo, and won. One step from immortality. The final against the Netherlands was brutal, one of the most physical World Cup finals ever played. Fouls, tension, pressure. 90 minutes passed, still no winner. Extra time arrived. Then, in the 116th minute, history happened. The ball found Andrés Iniesta. One touch, one shot, one moment. An entire nation exploded. Spain were world champions for the first time in their history. Most champions eventually decline. Spain somehow became even stronger. By Euro 2012, their football had reached another level. The understanding between players seemed almost telepathic. Opponents already looked exhausted before kickoff. Everyone knew what Spain wanted to do. Nobody could stop it. The final against Italy became the ultimate demonstration of their dominance. Not merely a victory, a masterpiece. Spain won 4-0. The largest victory in the history of a European Championship final. 3 consecutive major tournaments. Euro 2008, World Cup 2010, Euro 2012. Nobody had ever achieved it before. Nobody has matched it since. This wasn't simply a successful team, it was football perfection. Many critics claimed Spain passed too much, but that misses the point. The passes weren't the weapon. Control was. Every pass manipulated space, every pass dictated tempo, every pass increased pressure on the opponent. Teams became frustrated, then tired, then desperate. Spain didn't need to attack constantly. They made opponents suffer without the ball. By the time opportunities appeared, the battle had often already been won. Football matches became chess games, and Spain always seemed 3 moves ahead. As we know, nothing lasts forever. By 2014, the football world had adapted. High pressing became more aggressive. Transitions became faster. Opponents found new ways to challenge possession-based football. At the same time, Spain's golden generation was growing older. The end came suddenly. A stunning 5-1 defeat against the Netherlands at the 2014 World Cup shocked the football world. The champions were vulnerable. The dynasty was over. But even as Spain fell, their influence remained, because what they created could not be erased. Years have passed since Spain ruled football. New champions have emerged, new superstars have arrived, new tactical ideas have shaped the game. But whenever football fans debate the greatest international team ever assembled, the conversation always returns to Spain, because they didn't simply win tournaments. They changed how football was played. They transformed possession into control. They turned simplicity into an art form. And for 4 unforgettable years, the world wasn't just watching a football team, it was watching football perfection.